Am I wrong for telling my daughter's boyfriend's parents that she's been using him as her personal ATM? My 16-year-old daughter Miranda has been dating this sweet kid Damien for about 5 months now. At first, I thought it was cute how he'd always insist on paying when they went out. Classic teenage boy trying to impress his girlfriend, right? But then I started noticing a pattern that made me seriously uncomfortable. Miranda would come home with new stuff constantly. Not just the occasional treat, but expensive coffee drinks every day, designer lip gloss, trendy clothes from stores I knew were way out of our budget. When I asked where it all came from, she'd casually shrug and say, "Oh, Damien got it for me," like it was the most natural thing in the world. I started paying closer attention. Every single time they hung out, Miranda came back with something. Movie theater candy, a new phone case, earrings, even groceries when she mentioned being hungry. The kid was literally funding her entire lifestyle. Last month, she mentioned wanting AirPods. I told her she could save up for them, or put them on her Christmas list. 2 days later, she's wearing brand new ones. "Damien surprised me," she said with this entitled smile that made my stomach turn. When I asked if she got him anything in return, she looked confused. "Why would I do that?" I tried talking to my wife about it, but she brushed me off completely. "He's just being a good boyfriend," she said. "Boys like to spoil their girlfriends. Let them figure it out themselves." But it kept escalating. Miranda started making these casual comments that revealed how transactional she viewed the relationship. Things like, "Damien owes me dinner since I had a bad day at school," or "I told Damien I really wanted that bracelet we saw at the mall, so hopefully he gets the hint." She wasn't even pretending these were his spontaneous gestures anymore. The breaking point came 3 weeks ago when I overheard her on FaceTime with her friend Emma. She was scrolling through some shopping app and saying, "Yeah, Damien is taking me to the mall this weekend. I already sent him screenshots of everything I want. He better not be cheap about it, especially after I had to sit through that boring movie he picked last time." That's when I realized my daughter had become a straight-up financial bully. I confronted her immediately, asked her point blank if she ever considered how much money she was costing this boy. Her response? "Dad, if he didn't want to spend money on me, he wouldn't offer." When I explained that he probably felt pressured, she rolled her eyes and said all her friends' boyfriends did the same thing. My wife sided with Miranda, saying I was being dramatic and that it was traditional for boys to pay. Traditional? This wasn't chivalry. This was exploitation. I started doing some math. Based on what I'd observed, Damien was probably spending at least $200 to $300 a month on Miranda. The kid works part-time at a pizza place making minimum wage. That had to be most of his paycheck. I couldn't sleep that night thinking about it. This poor 17-year-old boy, probably lying awake stressed about money, working extra hours just to keep my daughter happy. Meanwhile, she was treating him like a walking credit card. I made a decision that I knew would blow up my household. I called Damien's parents. His mom answered, and I'll never forget the conversation. I explained the situation as gently as I could, expecting maybe some defensiveness about their son's spending habits. Instead, there was this long pause, and then she started crying. Turns out, Damien had been working double shifts every weekend, and had even asked to borrow money from his college savings account. When they pressed him about it, he broke down and admitted he was terrified of disappointing Miranda, that she'd get upset if he couldn't afford the things she wanted. Kid had been having anxiety attacks about money, but was too embarrassed to tell anyone what was really happening. His mom thanked me through tears, saying they'd been wondering why their responsible son had suddenly become so financially reckless. They'd scheduled a family meeting to talk about budgeting, having no idea their son was being financially manipulated by his girlfriend. Damien broke up with Miranda, and finally realized Miranda was just using him. Now my wife isn't speaking to me, and Miranda is furious, claiming I ruined her relationship, but at least Damien isn't suffering anymore.